Hi, thou art that. I want to take this opportunity to assess the relationship between your philosophy, as I understand it, partially and incompletely, and my philosophy, that I also understand partially and incompletely, but more completely than I understand yours, of course. Um, I think you and I have something important in common in philosophy, that in the question of what if life is a dream, I think you and I both realize that in many senses it absolutely is a dream. Okay. Um, Now, I think we also would agree, you might put it in different words, but that it's a very different sort of dream than a nighttime dream. So by calling it a dream, we're talking metaphorically. But in the past, I've entertained theories of, what if the physical reality as we see it is just the elements of a simulation or a subset of reality. And there's a fundamental space of logic or something, and in which case the laws of physical reality, could be changed, or mind over matter more easily, bending the laws of physics with the mind, perhaps, if the universe is really made of mind stuff. But I don't think that now. I pretty, for various reasons, I think that the world is material. That physical part aspect of things really does. That is what things look like when you look closely. And logic, is a higher order thing. Now, on the other hand, of course, these fundamental laws of nature do have a logic to them. And these are logics that we can use at our level. Um, so my question to you then is where do you stand on how physical is the world? Now, we know that it's a dream. We also know that it doesn't really make a difference. It's not like a nighttime dream. If the laws of physics pertain in this dream, then the laws of physics pertain. The world's pretty much the same if it's a dream or if it's not. If you hurt yourself and you have pain, uh, those the experience is the same if it was physical or just this really realistic dream, which is not like a sleeping dream. But it is interesting. You start to think of non-physical explanations for the world, and I don't know. In the end, I think you zero back in on the physical, because if the world was like some logical matrix, let's say, that would be a physical thing. We would eventually, discover that by taking things as they appear to be materially now. And I think too, there's maybe certain ways that that happens. But so anyway, yeah. Um, and basically, even if we are in a dream, you and I seem to both agree that there's an embodied approach. The mind is a body, it's a thinking thing. I hesitate to call it a computer. Some of the computer metaphors do work, but that's because they're ideas that we came up with about the human mind, and when we use them to create computers, if then and all these things, these are ideas we had about human thinking that then we use those abstractions to make computers. So some of those metaphors, like memory, memory is about human memory. We use that abstraction to make this storage mechanism for a computer, but you could still talk about memory as storing stuff. I mean, um, that's because the source metaphor is human cognition. So yeah, if this isn't clear, let me state. I'm wondering, how do you think the world is more physical, or more some like substructure of will, or like my theory had, it as a logical, a logical matrix, and so anything that was logically coherent was possible, and we would be stuck in this reality because we entered a cloud of the laws of physics, and when we tend to run along those laws of physics just like electricity along a wire, and so we get trapped in a certain subset of the logical. the things that are logically lead to one another, we're stuck in that matrix of that, even though right next to it there's a whole alternate set of physical laws. And I did this far enough to see if it would work, and I decided that in the end that model is basically would be a physical model, like I was saying earlier. We would be able to discover that by taking the laws of physics at face value, but keeping learning more. See, we're always willing to learn more. And this is another thing. I think if the body were some sort of projection of a mind, spirit, let's say, separate from a physical reality, so we'd have a shared reality, but maybe it's dreamlike shared reality or whatever, but still physical in that sense that we're interacting with it. But anyway, if the body were an idealization, we wouldn't just keep learning things about it, but we keep learning, the realities about how this thing works. And they're not idealizations. We keep being surprised at how we have to take our own behavior into account. So, in other words, we're learning about ourselves as if we are objects. So I think it's a strong argument for there being some, the model of the physical is true. We're not just a dream that looks like a body. This body really is made of some sort of a matter. Now that matter might come down to some sort of dreamlike thing in the end. I wouldn't be surprised. It all sort of does if you look at the probabilities of, how surreal quantum physics is. It does offer hope that there's a weird dreamlike, truth is stranger than fiction in physics right now, for sure. And so it's going to probably remain that way from now on. And that's really cool. So yeah, the reality is surreal, and you almost could call it dreamlike, but it is a shared physical reality. Um, acknowledging that. Yet life is a dream, of course, because at the very least, we're this embodied mind, and it's dreaming a picture of reality from the senses. Now, sort of a word play because people don't consider that when you are awake, that's a dream. If it is really what's there. The point is, it's really what's there. But if you're deaf and blind and dumb, you wouldn't know what was there. You have eyes, you get information, and then you dream based on the information you get. So you try to have a dream that matches what's going on there. But not everybody is equally, good at that. We all get it a little bit wrong. Our dreams are a little bit wrong, and we react to the dreams, and they're a little bit wrong compared to what happened. So